Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. Today I'm going to be making some pecan pralines, but I'm going to be using walnuts in mine today because I couldn't find any pecans in my freezer. And I figured, hey, instead of going and buying pecans, if I have a freezer full of walnuts, I'll use those. It'll probably be fine. So these are the walnuts. I've looked through them, made sure there's no shells, and what I'm doing is just kind of breaking them up a little bit. Instead of using like a whole piece like that, I'm breaking that in half, and I'm gonna make about a cup of them here. Other than that, we'll be using a cup of light brown sugar, a cup of white sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, a small can of evaporated milk. This one has 5 fluid ounces, and I'm going to be using a half a cup of butter. Not a half a cup, a half a stick. One thing about pralines is you have to move fast. So I want to make sure I have my wax paper laid out already. So I put about 2 foot of wax paper out right here, a length of 2 foot of it. I probably won't need that much of it, but I wanted to make sure I had more than less, because once I get ready to pour these pralines, it's going to go very fast. The first things to go into the pot will be the sugar. So like I said, we're going to use a cup of light brown sugar. That's the first thing that I'm going to put into my pot. And I'm also going to use a cup of regular white granulated sugar. So that's the next thing going down in here. Okay. So there's our sugars that we have in there. And then the next thing will be the milk. And like I said, it's a small can of evaporated milk. And this one is a 5 fluid ounce. I'm going to mix this up and put it on the stove. I'm going to use a wooden spoon to stir this up. Get this going here. And what I want is I want this to start all melting, all that sugar melting into that milk that we have put. And I'm kind of following a recipe that I actually seen Phil Robertson make. I don't know if y'all know who I'm talking about, but he's from Duck Dynasty. And he made pecan pralines on his show once. And I liked the way they looked and they looked like they turned out really good. And they looked a lot like my mom's pralines. So I want to try his recipe. My mom did give me her recipe. I do have that here. And I have several recipes for pralines. But I just wanted to try Mr. Phil Robertson's recipe today. Although he used pecans and I'm using walnuts, that's the only thing that I'm doing different. Now, if I would have had some pecans in the freezer, that's what I would have used. I thought I had some pecans. Maybe I do, I just couldn't find them. Okay, so he says this is going to start coming up to a boil. And he says he's not talking about some little bubbles on the side. He's talking about it actually boiling. Okay, you see mine starting to boil. So I put mine at about 4 minutes. I'm waiting for it to come down. And he said to let it boil for about 3 minutes and 40 seconds on a medium heat. And I'm going to keep stirring it and watching my timer, which I have it set over there. I would have did this on a live, but I thought making pralines for the first time on a live would probably be just a little too risky. So I figured I'll do this where I can kind of control the camera, and you can see in the pot a little bit better too. When I do a live, the camera is mounted up somewhere, and this way I have access to my camera. I can hold it and let y'all see in the pot like this. Now, like I said, I'm using a wooden spoon. That's what Mama always used, was a wooden spoon. This is supposed to come to a soft ball. This is a Creole recipe because it uses the brown and white sugar. It can also be made with only the white sugar. Now, Mr. Phil did not use a thermometer to get to the soft ball stage, so I'm not either. I'm doing what he did. He said once it starts boiling, let it cook like that for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's what I'm doing. We still got a little ways to go. We're at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds right now. I'm just going to continue with my stirring. Just gently stirring. I'm not stirring like crazy. I don't want this hot potion sloshing all over me, that's for sure. Talk about a bad burn. So I'm being very careful with my stirring. I'm not going crazy with it. Pralines is a Louisiana favorite. It's been made here for a very long time. I can remember my mom making these forever. My whole life she's made pralines. It's a very fast, very easy dessert, very good. Now they always used, Mama always used pecans in hers, and I would have used pecans in mine today, but I couldn't find no pecans in the freezer. So I'm using walnuts because I found a whole bunch of those. Okay, y'all, we're getting very close now. Okay. Let's try a little drop of this. Okay, like that. I dropped a little bit of it in here. It's at a softball. Yeah, okay, that's good. Now we're going to turn this off, and I'm going to set the camera down where y'all can kind of see what I'm doing. And the half a stick of butter will go in next. I've got about 1.5 cups of walnuts, and I'm gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla. Now all this is gonna get mixed in. I'll try to bring it over here where y'all can see it. Okay, now I'm gonna stir this up. Stir, stir, stir. You see how shiny and pretty it is? Okay. He says about 50 beats, and it'll be, he says about 50 beats, and then you will turn it on to the wax paper very quickly. So let's beat this in there. Get that butter in there, and that softened butter, y'all. That's not out of the ice box, okay? That's been sitting on the cabinet, and it's softened. I got to be careful how I don't want to mess with my temperature too much on this. Okay, let's hurry, hurry, hurry. Okay. I think that's enough, y'all. Okay, this is supposed to come out by the spoonful. It's not pre-measured. You don't have time to pre-measure these spoonfuls. You just get you a big old spoonful out of there and set it on this wax paper. See how it's nice and shiny and pretty? That's what we want. And it looks like I could have went with some more wax paper. Y'all see that? But we're going to make this work. We're going to make it work. I don't have very much left in my pot, and I can see it is setting up. We're just going to make some little small ones on the side here. If they run together a little bit, it'll be okay. I'm not going to sweat it. It ain't no use to it. Ain't nothing I can do about it now. Okay, so y'all see, you might want to put you more than 2 foot of wax paper down, because I could have used a little bit more wax paper on mine. Okay, and that's it. That's all there is to it. That's what's left in the pot. As you can see, it's already starting to set up. And this is a very quick dessert. I mean, that was fast. That was super fast. Look at those beautiful pralines, guys. That was quick. Now, look at those beautiful pralines. Oh, y'all, this is a Louisiana favorite right here. And they do set up quickly. Look at that. That's already cool right there. That little piece. So they'll be set up probably in just a few minutes, and then I'll pick one up and show it to you. But look, this hasn't been sitting here long. I don't want to mess them up, but you see that? They're already setting up. I like this shiny look to them. These are getting a little dull to me. They may finish a little on the dull side. But I bet you if I would have poured them quicker, they would have been more shining. So, there's mine. Okay, y'all, it's not even been 5 full minutes yet, and they're already set up. Look at that. It's already set up. Let's break it in half. You see how that broke? Okay, now it's time for the taste test. Okay, let's see what they taste like. Oh yeah, they're good. The walnuts do just fine in them. I like pecans in them, yes, but if you have walnuts, they'll work equally well. I want to say I borrowed my mom's pot to make these because you need a heavy pot to do this with. And she has the Magnolite. It worked really great for that. The tall Magnolite where it wouldn't slosh out. Thanks, Mom, for the use of your pot. I appreciate it. Y'all, when y'all go to pick these up, just simply pick your wax paper up like this and unstick them. That'll be the best way to keep them from breaking. Just want to lift it up. You see how it comes unstuck like that from the cabinet? And then go under it and pick them up like this. That's the best way. I'm going to store mine in an airtight container with a lid just to keep them fresh longer. If you use the salted butter, like I did, you won't need to add any salt to your recipe. But if you use unsalted butter, you'll want to add a pinch of salt to your recipe. And you'll want to add that in at the same time that you adding your sugar into the pot. So that's just a note, guys. Keep that in mind. I did use the salted butter. These cool very quickly. Another note is don't use a spoon that has any kind of onion flavor on it. Make sure of that also. Okay, so there they are. Also, I've been scared to make these my whole life. Here I am at 53 just making my first batch of pralines, y'all. Now that's crazy. Please don't wait that long, y'all. They're not hard to make at all. They're very easy. And there's a lot of variations on this recipe, so I think they would be hard to mess up. The only thing is that you have to cook them to the right temperature and pour them out quickly so they don't set up in the pot. But they're scrumptious, and I hope you'll try them. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.